Let's talk about Tottenham. And there's been quite a lot of news actually at Spurs going on off the pitch recently. So as revealed by Football Insider on Monday, Aston Villa's head of recruitment, Rob MacKenzie, is looking like he's going to join Tottenham as their new chief scout. Wayne, obviously there's been lots of talk about a behind the scenes overhaul at Tottenham over the last few weeks and months. What do you think this means in terms of recruitment, bringing in someone like MacKenzie?
Yeah, I mean, there's been some changes obviously at Tottenham last few months. Paratici had to leave in April, I believe, because of his FIFA worldwide ban. He's still working for Tottenham on a consultancy basis, and quite interestingly, is still being spotted at matches. He's still there, but he's no longer in a former role. And Greta Steinson left as performance director in the summer. So there's been recruitment changes. They've brought in Johan Lang from Villa to be their technical director, I believe, effectively in charge of the whole transfers across the senior and the academy side. And, Football Insider broke the story on Monday that Rob MacKenzie is joining from Villa. And you don't have to look sort of too far to see the link there, do you? Obviously, they both worked at Villa together for 3 years. Monchi was brought in by Villa in the summer. Emery's kind of ally, fellow Spaniard, and Lang was very much shunted to one side. I was told that he was, sent to a kind of office in Copenhagen to work at since the summer and wasn't involved in the first team transfers at Villa at all. So in terms of Tottenham, I mean, as Paul knows very, very well, they changed their kind of recruitment setup a lot, Paul, don't they? I mean, under Daniel Levy's time, I mean, how long do these guys generally have? They have a year, 2 years, don't they? Sporting directors, go all the way back to Frank Arneson and then
Damien Comoli, etc.
They've gone and then they leave, don't they? And these are the Villa guys who brought in. I mean, you actually look at Villa's transfers over the last 3 years, they're not been that great, have they? I mean, of the current first team side, I mean, there's been some better recruitment since Emery took over. If you look at going back previous 3 years, there's a lot of flops. Leon Bailey, Bertrand Traore, all those guys. I mean, there have been some good ones. Ollie Watkins, Tyrone Mings, but they've spent a lot of money. Villa, they give big wages. So I don't think Tottenham fans would be completely thrilled to have a kind of Villa recruitment invasion. But yeah, the deal's happening, and Rob MacKenzie, Johan Lang started this week, and Rob MacKenzie starts next week.
And Paul, do you see, as Wayne briefly mentioned there, obviously Paratici's ban, although he is still working at the club, do you think there is going to be a possibility of him returning to the club in some capacity and actually working for them once his ban does take place over the next few years?
I think it's interesting that he's actually still involved with the club in some capacity, because with a situation like this is an opportunity to cut ties. The Italian connection at the club has left. It's gone. It's moved on. Those managers have moved on. And if you wanted to move somebody like Paratici on, given this situation, given the ban, it wouldn't be hard to do. But the fact that the club are keeping him close by, there would be, you'd suspect there's some kind of role there for him. But what role, you don't know. Because with Johan Lange, he comes in as like a technical director and he oversees everything. And his man is Rob MacKenzie. He comes in as head of recruitment. Rob MacKenzie's found players like Mahrez and Kante at Leicester over the years. And Lange's time, as Wayne rightly says, at Aston Villa, you speak to some Aston Villa fans, some are very positive, some are sceptical. There was some very good signings, some indifferent signings, spent a lot of money. But the one thing that he was tasked with at Villa was the building up of the youth setup, the scouting network, the whole recruitment system behind the scenes, what him and Rob MacKenzie set up, and that he developed the whole thing. So you would think from a Tottenham point of view, if these two are coming in as a well-oiled machine, if you like, a team, a duo that know each other very well, you would question where Paratici sits amongst the recruitment side of it, whether there's an advisory role or what capacity Paratici would be there before he's kept on as, like an advisor or a consultant like he is now. You look at the two that are coming in here and you think, where's he going to fit? Where's the space for him? But the fact that the club are keeping him at close calls would suggest that there is a role for him. What that is, I don't know.
I think Daniel Levy, the chairman, obviously appreciates Paratici's connections, doesn't he, and his network of contacts. And obviously he was key to a couple of, very successful signings. You look at Kulusevski, look at the Benson Kerr joined from Juventus. They were both Paratici's guys by all accounts. And you look at, the goalkeepers come in this summer again from Italy. Has Paratici had involvement in that? You would probably think he has. And, the Udigi as well, there's a lot of sort of Italian signings who have worked out very well and who are young and who are going to get better. So there seems to be that these guys are coming in from Villa. Yes, they're going to run the recruitment for this season, but doesn't mean they're going to be running it subsequent to that. Knowing how Tottenham board and Levy, they flip-flop from kind of regime to regime. He's obviously keeping Paratici on in the background, consultancy role, and don't be surprised to see him come back as soon as that ban ends. That's how Levy works, how Tottenham work, and they change all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, like we've mentioned, Lang started 2 days ago, and at the time of recording on Friday, we've now got 59 days until the January transfer window opens. Paul, who do you think the club should be targeting going into the window? Of course, quite a few fans have started the title challenge talk on social media. People, that's starting to drum up some interest. So where do you think the clubs sit in terms of signings? Quite a few people have pointed at a striker, and people like Ivan Toney has been brought up. What position do you think they need to target going forwards to really mount that challenge to win the league?
I think you look at the squad depth, and I think that'll be an issue. Squad depth of players that the manager wants. Every manager inherits a certain amount of players in a squad that he doesn't want. With Postecoglou coming in the summer, he hasn't necessarily had the time that he would like to put his own spin on. There'll be players in that dressing room, maybe the likes of Eric Dyer, that aren't getting much game time. There's plenty of other players in that dressing room you could name that the manager will want to move on, and he'll want to fill a squad with his own players, and he'll want to strengthen it. And I think that there would be an issue for Tottenham this season if they were competing in Europe, if they were competing in the cup competitions. But that's a huge advantage that they've got over their rivals. That they're not. They're playing Saturday, Monday, Friday, whenever it is, and they're getting plenty of recovery time. Squad depth would be an issue. Competition in every place, like we've heard Mikel Arteta quite openly say, he wants 2 players for every position. And I don't think Tottenham have got that to the level that would compete as a starting 11 every week if the manager wanted to rotate this side. As a starting 11, they've proved already they're good enough. Can they do it over a length of a season? That's yet to be seen. They don't have the problem of the fixture pile-ups, like I've said. I think with Hugo Lloris in limbo, seemingly as he is, I think he'll look at another goalkeeper to back up. Was on a Fraser Forster's there as well. But I think centre-half as well. I mean, Van der Ven's been a revelation. He's been an excellent signing. And Romero next to him has been brilliant. But listen, let's be honest, it's a matter of time before Romero gets suspended. But when he gets suspended, what does he do then? What's his next plan? I think he needs a centre-half of the same level and the same leadership qualities as that is, because at some point Romero is going to amass enough yellows or that red card's coming.
Yeah, and you kind of look at the centre-forward position as well. Obviously Harry Kane left the eve of the season, hasn't been replaced, and Son's been playing a lot down the middle, great success. But Richarlison still isn't firing, doesn't look a centre-forward, doesn't look an A-list wide player for Tottenham, and kind of looks almost the weakest link in that team at the moment.
He's struggled with it, hasn't he? Surprisingly, he's really struggled.
Yeah, I mean, Everton, he looked, borderline outstanding at times, didn't he? Dynamic. But I think Tottenham maybe slightly bigger club, bit more pressure. Doesn't seem to, maybe needs to be the main man, and he isn't that Tottenham. He wasn't that last season, and Kane was there. Still isn't that with Son and Maddison. Maybe it's slight an ego thing as well. Brazil, he does well for Brazil, but at Tottenham, it's not working. So you could see Tottenham, if they got the right offer for him, getting rid of him and bringing in someone else. And the Ivan Toney whispers are quite interesting, not only with Tottenham, also, you've got Chelsea and even potentially Arsenal as well. He's got a ban that ends, I think, in January, and a lot of clubs are looking at him. Brighton, he's sort of the word from Brighton is they want 100 million for him, and they very might well get quite close to that, especially if there is an auction for him, obviously, which is what Brighton want. And there's no way in the world Brighton are going to reject 80 plus million for Ivan Toney. I mean, there is no way they will accept, because they are a selling club, and that's kind of riches that they would not have foreseen in a million years, just even probably 3 years ago. So you could definitely see, kind of a lot of interest from Tottenham, particularly if they think, oh, hang on, we could actually, believe it or not, properly run, Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal close. Because you look at, it's almost a 4-horse race already, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has been really interesting. Will be interesting to see going into the window where they do pick anybody up, and actually if they can keep that momentum going, like both of you have said.